Hey team, and happy summer. My name is Brian, core design engineer with Brunswick Bowling, and today we have an extra special DV8 video for you guys where we are putting all of the DV8 products from the past year on a chart and comparing them. And we're also introducing the brand new Severe Collision, showing you how that ball stacks up relative to all of the DV8 bowling balls. And I'm going to give you some tricks and tips about how to build a 6-ball arsenal using this chart format that I've got for you guys. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to try to keep this video relatively short because we're going to do this for all the balls for all of the brands. So make sure you're liking and following my channel at Bowling Buckosh on Facebook and YouTube so you don't miss all these videos. These charts, they are my opinion, but I tried to keep them relative to one another as well as relative to their own brand. So within reason, these charts are all interchangeable. You can take a look at cross-branding if you so choose. But we're going to talk today about DV8, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to pop up this chart right here, and what I recommend for you guys is to select 6 balls to make a 6-ball arsenal. And why 6 bowling balls? Well, that's pretty simple. That is 2 3-ball rollers. 2 3-ball rollers, you can pick your favorite 3 if you bowl on house shot china and bring them in with you. And then you have an extended 3-ball arsenal to add to make a total of 6 that you can take to traveling leagues, tournaments, local tournaments, regional tournaments, whatever you so choose. That's a very reasonable number to travel with. And it used to be that 2 bags flew free with Southwest, but they just discontinued that policy. So I guess fly with any airline you want now. Bitterness aside, we are going to take a look at these charts, and we're going to start with my recommendations, and we're going to just break this chart into simple categories. You've got on the y-axis your oil volume that the balls are built to handle from highest on the top to lowest on the bottom, and on the x-axis down here left to right, you've got your motion shape from smoothest response to friction to sharpest response to friction. And what I'm going to recommend that you do is just pick 2 from every category. So of course you're going to pick 2 from the heavy oil category, 2 from the medium oil category, and you guessed it, 2 from the light oil category. And for each of those 3 categories, when you pick 2 of them, I want one of them to be a smoother reaction and one of them to be a sharper reaction on the chart. And that way you have 6, and in each category for oil volume you have 2 complementary reactions, a smoother and a sharper reaction. That is simple enough, and it makes plenty of sense, and it makes sense when you put all the balls together so you don't have too much overlap. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to pop up DV8's chart. These are all the balls that DV8 has released within the last year. Now there are a couple disclaimers that I have to go through here. First of all, the chart is the location based on my opinion. It's not based on Brunswick as a whole or DV8's marketing, although if you look at the DV8 marketing chart that is on their info sheets, I think you will find very close resemblance to where I put these. Just some maybe nuanced differences in how I chart them versus how they chart them, but for the most part, even though this is my opinion, it falls pretty much in line with what DV8 and the marketing team was looking to do. But I was talking about disclaimers. Yeah, number 1, this is just my opinion. Number 2, a 2D chart does not capture all of the nuances of ball motion. So you will see some overlap even though DV8 only has 6 balls on the chart currently. That is because, just charting oil volume and sharpness and smoothness does not count for other characteristics such as length and bowler style and layout, a whole host of things. So just bear in mind that a 2D chart, not perfect at capturing every nuance of ball motion, so take it with a grain of salt. And my final disclaimer is just that these aren't all the balls in the current product lineup for DV8. These are just all of the balls for the last year, from last Bowl Expo season up until now, not including the new Bowl Expo ball that we're going to pop on the chart in just a minute to show you how it compares. Yeah, so this is 1 year from Bowl Expo of last year all the way up until just previous to Bowl Expo this year. And some of the highlights on the DV8 chart include the no-thumb balls that are the DV8 Dark Side, the Troublemaker, and the Heckler. The Heckler is an asymmetric ball that starts with a 10 intermediate differential, but it can go up into the 30s in intermediate differential and be an absolute asymmetric monster if you want it to with no-thumb layouts. Troublemaker likewise can be a pretty asymmetric ball with the right layouts for no-thumb bowlers. And Dark Side is basically a tour style ball in terms of total differential, 0.35, but it can go down into the 20s in total differential. It can go up into the high 40s, low 50s in total differential, depending on what layout you put on it. So all of these balls can either be asymmetric or symmetric, low flare, high flare, depending on what you do in terms of layouts. So let's remember to go to dv8bowling.com, click on their No Thumb Resources tab, and make sure that you're looking at the dot to center of grip distance guide that they provide you on the website. And they also give you a converter to convert that dot to center of grip distance into a dual angle layout, as long as you have the right inputs, some of your bowler specs like your PAP, and of course there are some layout things that you need to include. So if you don't know all the information about that, make sure you work with your local educated pro shop operator to make sure that you have that. And I have very extensive videos outlining where to find the no thumb distance guide, how to use it, how to use the layout converter, and where to get all that information. So make sure that you're looking for that information. It's in the Dark Side video, it's in the Troublemaker Solid video, the Troublemaker Pearl video, the original Troublemaker video, the Heckler video. So if you really want educated on no thumb layouts for DV8 bowling balls, and for all bowling balls, symmetrical or asymmetrical, there's lots of great detail in those videos. So because of that, we're going to leave that right there, and we're going to focus a little more on this chart. So all of those are for thumb in players, smoother options, but still really great versatile options. You don't have to be a no thumb player to use them. And of course we have some shinier, sharper balls on the other side of the chart. Shiny Solid, that is the Wicked Collision, that is slightly smoother but still changes direction well. That is going to have the same collision core that's in our upcoming Severe Collision. One of the sharpest balls on the market, bar none, in the Hater. So if you're looking for a sharper option for more medium oil conditions, this high RG, high total differential, high intermediate differential Hater core inside the Hater Pearl is going to get you as much change of direction at the back of the lane as you want, assuming that there is friction at the back of the lane, because with that high RG it does rev up later, and if you are not on the right conditions with a little built-in friction, then it can be a little over-under, a little sporadic for you. But in the right conditions, very good. And an underrated versatile Mantra, which is another shiny ball in the lineup that's going to go a step smoother, that's going to be a step longer, but also a step smoother off the break point than that Hater, for a little more control and a little more dried conditions. But that one was actually a bowler favorite, kind of went under the radar, but the players that had it actually really liked that Mantra. So a really stout lineup with a lot of versatility, and these no thumb cores that I first was talking about, they can go in a number of directions on the chart depending on the layout that you choose. So take the extra step to make sure to dial in the layout according to the motion that you want if you're a no thumb bowler. Standard layouts will work for standard thumb in players on these balls. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip a little switch to update this chart, and you'll notice that the Wicked Collision going away. That's because that was last year's Expo launch. And in its place, a Severe Collision, another addition to the Collision lineup. All of these Collision balls, starting way back with the original, which was like a pink, black, silver, pearl, I think, all the way up till now, I think there's been 5 iterations in the lineup, have all had the same collision core. Ultra low RG at 2462, which is basically as low as we can legally manufacture without being in trouble with the USB-C. So ultra fast revving in that regard. 052 total differential undrilled is going to give you a ton of flare potential. It's not maxed out, but it is very, very high. And 019 intermediate differential is getting into the high range of intermediate differential as well. And intermediate differential shortens that hook window. In other words, the ball transitions from skid to hook to roll faster. So that is going to be a quick change of direction when that ball encounters friction. So these core numbers have been a unique pairing for us. And when I say that, what I mean is it's rare for a ultra low RG core, about as low as you can go, as fast revving as you can make it. It is a little rare for them to pair so well with shiny cover stock combinations. And you notice that collision over collision over collision, we do keep leaving them at box compound. And that is because this ultra low RG with this high differential and this high intermediate differential have been a really good pairing for shiny cover stocks. It makes sure that it reads the mid lane securely and adequately, and that it's not blowing through the breakpoint with that low RG, but while still giving you a hard change of direction at the back of the lane that seems to be relatively continuous and not too quitty and not too forward. And that speaks to the longevity of the collision core in the series. So another edition of this time just with the HK22C Havoc hybrid cover stock. Now this is actually really sharp for a hybrid. The combination of the low RG and the hybrid cover stock make it one step less sharp than the Hater Pearl, but built to handle more oil volume as well. It's going to be more change of direction. It's going to be cleaner, first of all. It's going to get you through the front part of the lane easier without changing directions too hard in the mid lane compared to the wicked collision that it precedes. And it's going to definitely be a really stout change of direction, really sharp change of direction at the back of the lane, being just one step smoother, but rounder and more continuous overall than that Hater Pearl, built to handle more fresh oil conditions, heavier conditions. Fresh medium oil, I think, is where it's at home, but it can also handle early breakdown for longer, heavier patterns with ease, even at this box shiny finish. Whereas the Hater Pearl, quite a bit easier length, later revving, sharper change of direction, and that would, to my eye, even though you might be able to open up the lane and cover more boards more easily with the Hater Pearl in friction, I still consider that ball a ball down because it can be a little too long or a little too erratic on fresher oil conditions. So this could be your number one asymmetrical ball out of your bag if you're a high rev player who likes to see the ball change direction on high ratio patterns, meaning easier house shots, maybe some challenge patterns that have some built-in friction to the right. Yeah, this severe collision could be the number one ball. But more typically, I think this is going to be a nice pairing as at the top of your bag to pair with something like a Heckler or a Troublemaker Solid for heavy oil. That's going to be your sharper option, where your other heavy oil ball is going to be the smoother option. And that brings me back to 6-ball Arsenal building. This is going to slot pretty easily in that strong and sharp category of ball motion. I do think if you need to blend the sharpness just a little bit to give it a little more security in the slot in the bag, then you could easily brush off the box finish, maybe put it at 3000 or just lightly touch it so that it's not quite as shiny but still has some of that gloss underneath. That gets you in that heavy oil category more squarely and very easily, and that allows some space below it for something like a Mantra or something like a Hater Pearl. Alright, I think that's enough talking for me. I've given you guys enough homework. First thing you gotta do, go to DV8bowling.com. Check out the No Thumb resources page if you're a no thumb bowler. You can learn a lot of information about how to lay out bowling balls and how the fingers that you put into the ball interact with the core to make them weaker or stronger depending on where you put those fingers. The No Thumb resources page has plenty of information for you guys, and so do my YouTube videos on all the independent bowling ball and core designs that go along with this No Thumb technology. Second, if you're interested in looking at this style video for the other brands, I already have Hammer's Arsenal building and chart video up on my YouTube page. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe at Bowling Buckosh on Facebook and YouTube. And join me right here in a brief little while where I will be reviewing the Ebonite lineup from Bowl Expo to Bowl Expo. And of course, we will be talking about the brand new entity in that video. So until then, I will see you in the next video.